And we're back! It's so good to see you again.
Hey guys, this is Kristen Leake. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have my good friend Eric, who is also a freelancer, and I know many of you have questions about freelancing after coding bootcamp, so I brought him in, and we are actually finishing our first project together as a team. I had a client, I needed some help because it was pretty big, and so we've been working together for what, like
It's been at least 3 months now.
Okay,
Like that.
yeah, three months now, and he's going to share his experience freelancing. So let's jump in. So did you always know you were going to be a freelancer after Tech Talent South?
Yeah, so great question. Initially, while I was in the class, I wasn't too sure exactly which way I wanted to go, to be completely honest. It's just a lot of information. But as far as freelancing goes, I didn't initially want to jump into it, just because there's a lot that goes on with that, kind of running a business at the same time. But at the same time, that is the best way to really learn, because you're learning on the fly. It's not the most efficient way to learn, just because you're making so many mistakes.
Yeah.
But you know, just from a simple learning process point of view, that's kind of the way that it's been for me. And just learn something new every day. Try to stay positive and just know that you're going to run into issues, and hopefully you're working with a teammate that is a good counterpoint to you. And
it's definitely made a big difference. It's a lot more enjoyable when you have someone to work with.
Right. And I'll add to that, you know, you add a different point of view as far as looking at a project. You might see something that I might not notice, and then vice versa. So that's why it's always good to work in teams.
That's a good point, because there are many times where I would try to solve a problem in the code, and I get so frustrated, and then Eric would look at something with, you know, a fresh set of eyes, and then he could find where the problem was when I was totally overdoing.
Yeah, and then don't be afraid to reach out.
Yeah.
You'll, over time, you know, meet a lot of people in the industry through meetups and you know, and working together in the community, that always try to reach out to people that you know. You're not going to know everything, and that's okay. So just don't be afraid to reach out to people and ask either for help, or if they have questions that they can answer for you as well.
Definitely. Who was your first client, and what kind of project is it?
Great question. First client actually was the catering website that you'd asked me to join in on. So, and what was the second part of the question? I forgot.
It's okay. What kind of project?
What kind of project?
But I can
Sure.
help talk about that too.
Sure, yeah, and you add if you want to jump in. So the project itself was a complete site do-over, if you may. She had a basic HTML-based web page with music that started when you landed on the page, which I thought was interesting that people still have that.
It like transports you back to the 1990s, like AOL dial-up.
Yeah, so very little CSS type work on the front end to really make it pop. So we decided to really start from scratch. Really got her a really nice template to use based off of her business, which is a catering company. And started from there, and then Kristen was the one that actually would meet with her every few weeks with updates. And from there, you know, she sat and we created a strategy out of really wanted to approach it where we wanted to really bring out her expertise.
Before I asked Eric to help me with this project, I showed my client some example websites, and I noticed that she wants to focus on pictures, which is what he was saying. And so I found a template on Envato?
Envato. The Envato marketplace.
Yeah, they have a lot of good templates for WordPress, HTML, CSS, JavaScript stuff. And so I chose a HTML one, and we just revamped it and just turned it into her own website. It doesn't look like a template at all anymore. I need to show you some of the basics to that, by the way.
Yeah, so the basics of it is, and there's a big marketplace for this, where you can buy a pre-built template with with a lot of the CSS and so forth already implemented into it, and then you can turn around and then completely customize it with colors, fonts, nav bars, so on and so forth, and pictures, which is a big one, especially for the catering website. So that's all stuff you can do, and you're probably going to run into issues like we did, which is natural.
It was really interesting seeing someone else's code, like someone else's notes and everything, and trying to figure out where things are. If you have to go to the CSS style sheet, if you have to mess around with the JavaScript and stuff.
There's a lot of lines of code to go through, I will point this out. Implementing a logo into the website is tricky, so that was fun. That was actually fun to learn.
Yeah.
If you want to tell, do you want to tell them about how you use the original logo and were able to, or no?
Oh, okay. So in the navbar, that issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we tried to use their actual logo, and it didn't look good at all.
The original logo had a white background.
Yeah, she didn't have a vector image, and what I'm realizing is some clients aren't going to know the actual materials that they need to give you to build a website. And so fortunately I have a friend who's a graphic designer, and I called him up and was like, hey, I really need your help. I need to show this to a client in a few days.
At least you knew someone.
That's
good.
True. And so he said, oh, this is really small image. And I said, I know, I'm sorry. And he said, let me see what I can do. If I can get it done, you just owe me a beer. And I was like, done.
You bartered with him. That was good.
Yeah. So that worked
and
out.
That's another thing you could do too, is barter. So if you have, I did this for a friend where I was designing simple stuff on the side for his music promotion company, and I got free tickets out of it. So
oh, nice.
There's the barter system. Marcus King Band.
Oh, you did mention it to me.
We did the thing for that, so
yeah,
it was fun.
What's the biggest challenge of freelancing for you so far?
Okay, so that would be unequivocally being able to use GitHub to push and pull repositories without running into headaches, which we did. And that was easily the biggest challenge. So to summarize, anytime we would work on, or the projects that we're working on, the code where you're constantly having to push it to GitHub, I had to do the same thing on my side, and when I would push it, our code would clash in a sense. And then trying to navigate all that to work collaboratively was a challenge.
We did good the first couple times.
We did.
And then towards the end, when the website was coming together, there were so many changes. Yeah, it started. Yeah,
multiple changes, and then being able to fix those conflicts internally within GitHub was a challenge. Not impossible, but I think over time, it's like anything else. As we do more of these, I think that will get a little bit easier for us. But again, it's a third-party tool, so it's another one that you're going to have to figure out over time. And
but the interesting thing is that in March it was terrifying to push things.
Yep.
And Coding Bootcamp, I did my final project with a group who didn't even want to use GitHub. They were so scared, and now I feel like a master.
Yeah, it's gotten better. It's by no means perfect at this point, but we're just going to build on that.
Yeah.
And go from there.
Okay, so next question. Let's see. What's your favorite thing about freelancing?
That's a great question. I would say my favorite, there's really two answers for that. The ability, especially now with technology, is freelancing allows you to kind of work around your own schedule, which is very convenient for anyone. So I would say that, and the ability to kind of work wherever you need to. We're in a co-working space at the moment, so stuff like that. And I would say secondly is, being able to work with a team, although our team is 2 people.
It's
better than working by yourself. So you can learn so much more. So I would say those 2 things.
Awesome. Okay, so second to last question. How do you find work?
So how do I find work? At the present time, it's a combination of a few things. One is just your general circle of influence and circle of friends, however big or small that may be. So start there, let people know exactly what you're doing. And then secondly, we always encourage this, and I know Kristen's probably encouraged it in the past, is try to get out into the tech community, so to speak. Meetups are a great way to do that. I know Charlotte has a bunch of meetups. Hopefully your town or city where you reside has a lot of that. Most of them do. Most of the big cities do.
And last question, Eric, what is some advice you could give to my viewers on freelancing after Coding Bootcamp?
Sure. A couple things I would say to stick with is continuously pushing. There's a few things. Continuously pushing yourself. Part of, life in general, coding. This really applies to anything. Is anything worth doing there's going to be a challenge involved. There's going to be a lot of headaches, but that is actually the process of learning. If everything goes your way, every time you do something, you're not really learning anything because everything is constantly working out for you. So it's good to have some roadblocks, and then from a coding perspective, you're always going to run into that.
It's not going to be easy.
So just be aware of it. And if there's a will, there's a way. If something doesn't work from a coding standpoint, it's not the computer's fault that something doesn't work. So critical thinking, it allows you to think critically about the problem that you're running into. And again, goes back to working collaboratively. I don't have the answers for everything, and neither does she. So bouncing it off some other people and asking for their advice is certainly something I would recommend. Yeah, and the networking, critical. Reach out to as many people as you can. A great way to get business, especially small business owners and other entrepreneurs, because they're busy running their business and they don't necessarily have time to think about all the technology that they have to implement. So I would recommend that's a good market to go after. That's certainly something I know that we focus on right now. So
networking is a huge game changer. It makes your life a lot easier. It's scary in the beginning when you're new in the industry, but everyone is so nice.
Yeah, and you're not going to know everything. So, but that's natural. I mean, the more you do it, the more you'll learn, and the more comfortable you'll be down the road. Hopefully, I'll be back for more episodes.
Yeah, I'd love to have you.
So.
Okay, guys, thank you for joining us today. I put out a new video every Sunday, so subscribe if you want to see more. That's what you're doing.
Thank you. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please like this video. If you have any questions for us, please comment below, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.